Hey, how's everybody doing? Brody here from Ultralight Plywood. Today, we are going to turn a sheet of ultralight plywood into this sign. This is 51 pounds. Hopefully we can keep that sign 51 pounds or less. So let's get started. I'm just putting the final touches on this design for a sign that we're gonna cut mostly out of the CNC. So the top part, that's all neon, and the bottom will all be cut out of ultralight plywood. About a 3/4 inch, need a few extra bearings, and it has a camshaft driving a series of levers that are going to rock these letters back and forth. That's about it. I'm hoping that we can bust this out pretty quick, cut it out, assemble it, add some neat, fun little things, and then send it off to the client. Honestly, I haven't tested this. We'll see if it even works. I'm hoping it works because I don't have too much of a backup plan. Next step is getting this all down onto one sheet of plywood, hopefully with room to spare. Fingers crossed. There you go. So it looks like I was able to get everything onto one 4x8 sheet, I'm hoping. And hopefully we're cutting this out tomorrow. Let's send this to the shop and see how it cuts. I didn't design any tabs into this cut. The bed has a lot of suction, maybe not quite enough, but it still seems to be working. I think I'll add tabs next time though. What's up, everybody? I just got all this stuff burned out from the machine. It is 3/4 inch ultralight ply, and this stuff is pretty f***ing light. It all looks pretty good. This is gonna look different from the design because I redesigned almost the entire thing. Client requested a different font last minute. This is the new font. What they don't realize is how much re-engineering that required. So we have quite a bit more complex piece than we had originally. I'm just gonna pull it all out, set it on the table. Since these are precision cuts with a mechanism, everything needs to fit really, really well. This is also one of the first times I've ever worked with ultralight plywood. And I gotta say, it was really easy to cut out of the CNC. and everything looks pretty clean. There's a few little things, but hitting it with a tiny bit of sandpaper, I think will take care of that. Does that look Wild West to you? Got some pretty cool letters. These are gonna rock back and forth, driven by a camshaft and levers. So it should be a pretty interesting mechanism, and I'm really just hoping that it all works. Then let's see if the dowel fits. That'll go there. These will support that. If I put it in the right hole, and that will drive another thing with a cam, and this will wobble. So, who knows? Okay, so I got everything kind of sanded down, trimmed up, looking good. Put it together a little bit just to, you know, see if it's gonna work. I'm gonna work on the camshaft a little bit now and a little bit of assembly. After that, we'll get down to painting it. I want to make it look like metal. So I'm gonna hammer into the wood after I assemble it a little bit, give it a little roughed up feeling. Yeah, hit it with some metallic paints. Try and make it look a little rusty and beat up and still be super light. Glue should be dry. I'm gonna take this apart and see if I can fit these big ass bearings in there somewhere. They're called pillow block bearings, but we'll see if I can make them fit. That's gonna keep that camshaft driving nicely for years. Powered off a little tiny, tiny motor. This guy over here, actually. So, hoping that works. Little worm drive, high torque, 50 RPMs, and let's keep working on it. By the way, this thing is super light. This is probably 10 pounds right here. Let's smash this stuff up a little bit. Let's paint this bitch. I'm going to add multiple layers of color and hope a little bit shows through. So I'm gonna make it look a little rusty. And I'm gonna do that with cinnamon and matte medium. Just gonna mix them in with a little bit of water. I already have a really paintbrush that I used for the rest of it. You can also use spray. If you do spray into a cup, do your spray first and then add the cinnamon. If you add your cinnamon first and then spray, it's gonna go everywhere. I'm using a high-vis reflective spray on the letters. That should make them pop at a distance. The consistency I'm going for is pretty sticky with a little bit of runniness, kind of how rust would naturally form following gravity along the metal. Looks like I need some more cinnamon. It's actually pretty light, maybe 20 pounds with the paint. Base coat, metallic paint over that, and then cinnamon to make it look rusty. And I would say it looks pretty rusty. Looks like a heavy ass piece of metal in my book. So let's flip this around. And I'm gonna take off this front plate and start installing the mechanism today. And what I'm really hoping is that it all works. Got a little too much cinnamon in one of these screws. Hopefully, oh, one more. Oh, that was easy, hell yeah. All right, so now we install these bearings. You guys see that? This should hold that whole camshaft stable. Seemed like the easiest way was just to bolt them together rather than try and put one on each end. Doesn't have a lot of weight that it needs to support. If there's a problem later, I'll figure that out. Look at that. It fits. And it spins. And it doesn't seem too wobbly. Before I install this, I'm gonna need to get cams lined up on the shaft. I've got the camshaft installed. Twists pretty well. I had to add some bushings on the end. I found some plastic washers that were pretty close to the right size. Glued them together to give it a little bit of thickness and then ground out the center. It's keeping this rod dowel centered around this really well, which will keep these cams from clashing with anything. Next step is just start tacking these in and pray. Sweet. All right, that'll work. They all need to be different, so the letters move at different angles. There we go. So I'm just trying to get a nice spread. It's gonna work. And then there's 2 more cams that'll go on the ends, but I'm leaving those off for now until we figure out exactly how the mechanism is gonna connect to spin on there. But this thing is looking pretty sweet. This chain is gold. I like that. Tiny motor, big chain, big cam. Painted all the spacers to hold the letters separated from each other so they can cross like that a little bit and they don't bump into each other. I'm hoping that nothing binds up when the mechanism is all working. Testing it, everything seemed to work okay, but you never know. I got the mechanism assembled. And now, the moment of truth. There's no letters on the back, but really hoping that nothing binds up and that this works. So let's check it out. Oh, hell yes. Look at that. Stuff is hitting, nothing's binding. Gonna need to adjust some weights. A lot of that will be fixed with the letters on this side. I can put some weights on these levers to keep them down too, but it works. I'm happy. All right, a few more things. I'm gonna take this plate on the back off, install some LEDs inside, but I'm pretty satisfied that it's working, so I'm gonna keep moving along. Lucky enough to have Chance here at Paradise to help me, extend wires and make sure the connections aren't gonna separate. I'm gonna weight these so they all fall down. I've got some wheel weights stick on, should be an easy solution for that. Not as light as it used to be. I'm going to attach a gear to each end cam just in case. This will also be a potential backup plan to drive the mechanism. Might work better if I load my brads. A little bit of binding here, but I came prepared with a solution. I had originally brought the playing cards to act as noisemakers. I'm glad I had them because they help on some of the cams. The top section slots right into the bottom section. I added some spacers out of the straps to keep it centered. All right, now for the top part. I'm gonna pull out. There we go. This is the LED neon rope. Woohoo. Did I measure it correct? Look at that, it fits. Mounting hole, mounting hole. So let's see if this will run off of 12 volts. my little battery. Boom, there we go, look at that. It's gonna look real nice. Time to paint the back black, my favorite color. So now the next step is gonna be getting this motor mounted. And I know which way it's gonna turn, so I just need to match that up with the correct side. It looks like we're gonna put it on this other side over here. It's a little tiny high torque worm drive motor, only 50 RPMs. And I'm also putting in big gear on the other end, so it should move quite slow actually, just a nice clunk, clunk, clunk. It's gonna have to bump out a little bit, so I'm gonna have to make something that fits on this end that will be able to drive this chain. I used Baltic birch hex ply for this part. I wanted some extra strength. We have an ultralight core hex ply as well that we call Ultra Hex. Some additional dust and water protection for the battery box. It is nearly there. I got the last part. This little tensioner pulley, it's just a kind of standard thing you could use on anything. It's got a roller, it'll work. Got a spring, I'm sure I can adapt it to make it fit. Then I'm gonna put the chain on. Here, let's move this over. This is the area I'm gonna be working on right here. Add this chain to this motor and the tensioner, and then it should be good to go. I did engineer a little backup plan in there, just in case if they're on the ranch, they can find a drill and some zip ties and just, yeah. You could easily connect it up to a bike too. I mean, maybe not easily, but jankily. Put this together and see if it works. If it works, maybe we'll hang it up today and light it up. I've been waiting to break this chain till I know how long it needs to be. Today is finally the day. Oh man, really should have started this whole thing off wearing the gold chain. All right, spring is connected. That's giving it tension. It'll be spinning that way, I hope. Let me grab the battery, and this is gonna be the first test. Let's see if it works. There. All right, here we go. The moment of truth. I think maybe this is too tight. Let's see. I am just spinning the motor. The motor seems strong enough, maybe. This is definitely spinning its wheels. Oh, look, there's one of my set screws. All right, hold on. Take this spring off. Looks like I didn't get my set screws in here very well, so the whole shaft was just spinning, which isn't the end of the world. That just came completely off and started spinning. So these are little tiny bolts. Just need to tighten these and we'll try again. Little tiny Allen key. So I'm gonna get this lined up with the D. All right, there we go. Honestly, I wonder if I even said it at all in the first place. I don't think I did. Even though this one isn't on any flat part or anything, still add a little bit of resistance. All right. Here we go, round 2, test number 2. Ooh, something somewhere. Oh. Could you tell where it was binding up? Oh, there it is. This guy right here seems to be colliding and then binding up on this one. So what I think I'll do is just unscrew this letter and angle it up quite a bit, just so it won't hit that again. And I might loosen this spring a little bit too. But let's plug it in again. There we go. Where are you, catching? This thing is janky, but it works. This cam on the end is binding as well, so I'll just sand that down a little bit. Everything is working, up to my standards at least. It's alive! I'm just curious how much this weighs, so I grabbed the scale from the shipping department. Let's throw this thing up here and see how much it weighs. Looks like we're about 65 pounds. Ooh, 66. So I was hoping that it'd be under 51 pounds, because that's how much a sheet of ultralight plywood weighs. But considering I added a lot of stuff to this, I'm not surprised that it's over that. We ended up using more than a sheet anyway, due to the redesign. It was about a sheet and a quarter. So I'm just gonna tidy up some of these wires. Then we can hang this up, light it up, and send it off to the client. All right, let's power up this sign and see how it looks. I built this box to keep out the sand. It's gonna be in a dusty environment. But there we go. Let there be light. Look at this thing. The letters move all on their own. Most of the time. There we go. Yeah, we got a camshaft running through here, spinning a series of levers or valves, and a bunch of other stuff holding it all together. Lots of ultralight plywood. This is one sheet down here. We had to use a little bit of extra just to get this top archway. But other than that, it's pretty much just one sheet. The final weight, 66 pounds. So we didn't hit the goal, but I think if we had lighter bearings instead of these heavy ass pillow block bearings and maybe more glue and less paint, we probably could have hit that 51-pound limit. A smaller sign definitely would have worked. This thing is big. It's still going. So if I had a longer drive shaft, a longer dowel, I wouldn't have this problem where I have to slam it every once in a while to get it to refit. But since this is going to the Jank Star Ranch where everything is already broken, it will fit right in. I definitely can think of a lot of ways I could have made this better and easier. But why don't you tell me how I could have done better in the comments? Feel free to roast me. I'm not a carpenter. I spend more of my time behind a computer doing design stuff than I do on a workshop table. What other ideas do you guys have for ultralight plywood? I'm down to build some weird stuff, so just let me know. We'd also love to see your projects. Check us out at ultralightply.com and at Ultralight Plywood on socials.